My husband came back after 3 years working away, with a mistress and a child. Then I smiled. I welcomed them into our home with open arms. They thought I was a fool, a broken woman accepting her fate. They had no idea they were walking straight into the gilded cage I had spent 3 long years building just for them. Hello, my darlings, and welcome. I'm Ash. If you're here, you know that some betrayals are so profound they don't just break your heart, they forge a new one, made of something colder and sharper. This is a story about patience, about the quiet art of revenge, and the moment a man and his new family learn that the meekest wife can be the most dangerous foe. If you believe that justice is a dish best served with a smile, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe and share your own thoughts in the comments below. This is the story of how I welcomed my husband, his mistress, and their son into my home. The day Michael returned was supposed to be the happiest of my life. For 3 years, I had kept the home fires burning. 3 years of lonely nights, of managing the household alone, of celebrating holidays with a ghost. His engineering contract in Dubai was a golden opportunity, he'd said. The money would set us up for life. We could finally build our dream house, start the family we'd always talked about. I believed him. I packed his bags with love, tucked photos of us into his suitcase, and waved goodbye with a heart full of hope. I marked the days on the calendar. His calls became less frequent, his emails shorter. I'm just tired, Clara, he'd say. The project is demanding. I poured my loneliness into my work, into the garden, into planning for our future. Our future. When his text came, flight lands Tuesday, 3 p.m. Can't wait to see you. My heart felt like it would burst. I cleaned the house until it sparkled. I cooked his favorite meal. I wore the dress he'd always loved. I saw him first, standing by the baggage carousel. My Michael. A little older, a little more weathered, but still the man I'd married. I started to run towards him, my arms opening, a sob of joy catching in my throat. And then I saw them. A young woman, clinging to his arm, her face bright and unfamiliar. And in her arms, a toddler, a little boy with Michael's unmistakable hazel eyes. The world tilted. The sounds of the airport, the announcements, the chatter, the rolling suitcases, faded into a dull, roaring silence. Michael saw me. His smile was tight, strained. He stepped forward, pulling the woman with him. Clara, he said, his voice too loud, too bright. This is Anya. And this is Leo. He gestured to the boy, who buried his face in Anya's shoulder. My son. I don't know what they expected. Tears. Screams. A scene. Perhaps they were braced for it, ready to paint me as the hysterical, unreasonable wife. I simply stood there. And then, I smiled. It wasn't a wide, crazy smile. It was a small, gentle, knowing curve of my lips. I looked at Anya, at her triumphant, pitying gaze. I looked at Michael, at the guilt and defiance warring in his eyes. And I looked at the child, an innocent pawn in their sordid game. Welcome home, I said, my voice steady as stone. You must all be exhausted from the flight. Please, come home. We have so much to discuss. The confusion on their faces was my first small taste of victory. They got into the taxi with me in a stunned silence. I asked Anya polite questions about the flight. I complimented Leo's beautiful eyes. I was the picture of serene grace. Inside, I was a volcano of ice. At the house, they gaped. While Michael was away, I hadn't just been pining. I'd been investing. The small inheritance from my aunt, the money I'd saved from my own job, I'd poured it into our modest home. It was now stunning. A renovated kitchen, a landscaped garden, a master suite that looked like it belonged in a magazine. It was my dream house. I had built it. You did all this? Michael stammered, his voice full of a strange, proprietary awe. I had a lot of time on my hands, I said sweetly. Please, Anya, make yourself comfortable. This is your home now, too. That was the hook. The first part of the trap. Offer them everything. Make them comfortable. Make them dependent. They moved into the guest room that first night, a tense, awkward trio. I heard them whispering, arguing. I slept in my beautiful master bedroom, in the bed Michael and I had shared, and I plotted. The next morning, over coffee, I laid out my masterstroke. Michael, you've been gone so long, I began, my tone laced with concern. Re-establishing yourself here will take time. And Anya, with little Leo, it's so hard to be in a new country with a child. I insist you both stay here. There's plenty of room. Anya's eyes lit up with avarice. The house was far grander than anything Michael's salary could have provided her. Michael looked conflicted, but weak. He was tired. It was easy. It would just be until I get on my feet, he mumbled. Of course, I purred. As long as you need. And so, the bizarre domestic tableau began. We were a twisted sitcom. The wife, the husband, the mistress, and the love child, all under one roof. I played my part to perfection. The gracious, forgiving, slightly pathetic wife. I cooked their meals. I babysat Leo so they could have date nights. I listened to Anya's vapid complaints about the weather, the food, the lack of good shopping. All the while, I was the spider, weaving my web. I learned everything about them. I learned that Anya had no marketable skills. I learned she was deeply insecure, terrified of losing her meal ticket. I learned that Michael was drowning in guilt and stress, finding the reality of his two lives colliding to be a nightmare. I stoked those fears subtly. I'd mentioned to Anya how expensive child support could be if things didn't work out. I'd casually talked to Michael about old friends whose marriages fell apart and lost everything in the divorce. Within 2 months, the tension was a living thing in the house. They fought constantly. Anya accused Michael of still having feelings for me. Michael resented her for the pressure. They were miserable. And I was just getting started. Phase 2 was financial. Unbeknownst to Michael, during his absence, I had become the majority shareholder in his future. Using my own savings and a series of clever investments, I had quietly acquired a controlling stake in the new firm his old boss was starting, the very firm that had promised Michael a prestigious, high-paying job upon his return. The board meeting was in a week. But the final, exquisite piece of my revenge was legal. 3 years of loneliness had given me ample time to prepare for any eventualities. I had hired a brilliant, ruthless lawyer. We had drafted a post-nuptial agreement, a thing of beauty. It stated that in the event of a divorce due to infidelity, I would receive the house, fully paid for by Michael's assets, plus 80% of our combined marital property. I had waited for the perfect moment to present it. That moment came on a Tuesday. They had a screaming match in the kitchen. Anya threw a plate. Leo was crying. I walked in, calm as a summer morning. This can't go on, I said, not raising my voice. You're right, it can't. Anya shrieked. He needs to divorce you. We're a family. Michael looked at me, hopeless. Clara, I smiled my gentle smile. Of course, Michael. I understand you want to be with your new family. I pulled the folded post-nuptial agreement from my apron pocket. I just need you to sign this. It just clarifies a few financial things to make the divorce process smoother. For everyone. He was so desperate to end the immediate conflict, to placate Anya, that he barely read it. He scrawled his signature on the dotted line. Anya looked triumphant. She thought she'd won. She had no idea she'd just signed away their future. The following Monday, Michael put on his best suit for his first day at the new firm. He was nervous, excited. This was his fresh start. Anya preened, imagining the wealthy life ahead of her. I stayed home with Leo. I was the doting, unofficial stepmother, after all. At 11 a.m., my phone rang. It was Michael. His voice was a strangled gasp. Clara, what have you done? What do you mean, darling? I asked, bouncing Leo on my knee. The board, the majority shareholder, it's you? The company is yours? They just announced it. Oh, that, I said lightly. Yes. It seemed like a sound investment. And don't worry about your job. I've decided your position is redundant. Effective immediately. Security will escort you out. The silence on the other end was deafening. I could hear his world crumbling. I'll fight the postnup, he finally choked out. I signed it under duress. With Anya as a witness to your emotional state? I don't think so, I replied calmly. And just so you know, the locks here have been changed. Your things will be on the lawn. You and Anya will have to find somewhere else to go. I suggest you hurry. The hotel bills will add up quickly, and from what I understand, you're now unemployed. I hung up. I looked down at Leo, who was giggling, unaware of the devastation his father was experiencing. He was an innocent. I felt a pang for him, but not for the adults who had created this mess. Anya came home first, laden with shopping bags, still spending money that was no longer there. She found her suitcases on the manicured lawn, next to Michael's. She screamed, she pounded on the door. I watched from the bay window, sipping a cup of tea, my expression serene. When Michael arrived, pale and shattered, the scene turned even uglier. Their perfect, stolen love curdled into mutual recrimination right there on my perfect lawn, for all the neighbors to see. It was a beautiful, public unraveling. They left, two broken people tied together by a child and their shared ruin. The burden of their betrayal was now a millstone around their necks. No money, no home, no future. The dream life they had built on my suffering had evaporated in the space of a single morning. As for me, I sat in the silence of my beautiful, fully paid-for home. The home I had built. The life I had secured. The vengeance I had so patiently, perfectly executed. They had thought I was the victim, the meek wife to be discarded. They never saw the architect of their downfall standing right in front of them, smiling. They say living well is the best revenge, my darlings. But I've found that ensuring those who wrong you live with the crushing weight of their own consequences is far, far sweeter. My story is a testament to the power of patience, to the strength found in silence, and to the truth that the quietest people are often the ones you should fear the most. If this tale of calculated justice resonated with you, if you believe in fighting back with wisdom instead of wrath, then please, support this channel. Subscribe for more stories of quiet strength and formidable retribution, and let me know in the comments what you think the final chapter for Michael and Anya should be. Until next time.